Good morning, everyone. Rebecca Vigas, the writer whisperer, here from a sunny but chilly South Central Kentucky. I am going to read you a page and a half from The Sound of Paper by Julia Cameron, and then give you a writing prompt from this. It's a two-step prompt, so it will take a little longer. Um, but think about it, because what we thought as children and what we think now are two different things. I tried something different this morning. I have a stand for my laptop, but because this chair is a recliner, it's not working as well as I'd hoped. Okay, today's thoughts from Julia are: to be independent, depend on God. In the days when spiritual beliefs held more intellectual currency, it was routine for artists to speak of divine inspiration. Prayer was part of everyday life and a working tool in the artist's repertoire. Writers prayed for plot lines, composers prayed for melody, painters prayed that their brush be guided, masterpieces were the result. In our modern lives, it can seem quaint or otherworldly or unbelievable to ask for and expect divine guidance in our creative endeavors. We have lost the sense of God as a working partner. He is too distant, too busy for affairs like our own. With the crush of cities, the crowds pressing through the subway turnstile, the jostling bodies on the midtown street, it is easy to believe this assessment. And yet, is it valid? Thomas, a young composer, seeks spiritual guidance daily. He asks for help, and when he gets it, sometimes as a melody line, sometimes as the impulse to organize or rearrange his space, on the guidance received. Goodness and creativity flow from his pen. For Thomas, asking for guidance is both a habit and a necessity. He takes great comfort in the spiritual forces he senses contact with. Composing is a lonely business, and it gives him a sense of companionship, praying for guidance and receiving it. Nadine is an accomplished writer with many books to her credit, for her writing and prayer are intermingled. The act of writing is a sort of distillate. She begins writing each writing session with a conscious effort to empty herself, to be a vessel for divine thought to flow through her. And yet, Nadine is a funny writer, earthy and sensuous. Her spirituality has not neutered her. I have an Irish breakfast tea this morning with a partial teaspoon of monk fruit sweetener and whipped cream. You know, like you buy in the bottle and you pour it out because it's liquid. You haven't whipped it yet. Much better than some of the others. Mitchell is a photographer, has been on a spiritual path for 15 years. He considers his considerable career a collaboration between him and a higher power. Routinely, he asks for inspiration and guidance. He has traveled around the world, camera in, finding the hidden grace hidden face of God in those who face his lenses. God, I believe, help my disbelief. Prays Arthur, a distinguished writer. The author of more than a dozen books, Arthur asks guidance on each new endeavor, waiting to write until he feels a sense of rightness and a new direction. Not surprisingly, his career is notable for its originality and often unexpected directions. Talk to enough artists, and the surprising fact emerges that praying for spiritual guidance results in originality, not sameness. We are inspired to become ourselves, a unique and multiple, as unique and multiple as the snowflakes. Okay, so your writing prompt is in the comments below the video, but let's clarify it a little more than I did there. To be independent, depend on God. Try this. Sometimes we are loath to rely on the great creator. Perhaps we still believe in a difficult, negative, or withholding God. The kind of God we believe in has a great deal to do with our willingness to draw close to God. This is a two-part exercise. Step 1, number from 1 to 10 and list 10 attributes of your childhood God. For example, distant, stern, male, humorless, punishing, all-knowing, all-powerful, prefers martyrs, prefers suffering, is difficult to reach. You may have some of those, you may have different ones. Now, number from 1 to 10 again. This time, list the characteristics you would like your God to have. For example, kind, encouraging, creative, humorous, easy to read, reach, supportive, enthusiastic, adventurous, personal, interested. Okay, you've got your 2 lists. Step 2, holding in mind the positive traits you envision. Write a letter to God, asking for specific help regarding your life and your creative projects. You may wish to create a ritual related to this letter, placing it in a God jar or on a small altar devoted to your creativity. Let me tell you something on a personal note. Whether you believe in God or not, I do, but that's my preference. I am the vessel for the writing. I actually do the writing or the typing. God gives me the words. He's given me the ideas for what to write. And when I start writing, He gives me the words. Imagine how awesome that is. And I talk to God daily, sometimes more than once a day. And I generally start out with, "Hey, God, it's me again. Or, God, can I have a minute of your time? I got a problem." and I spill it all out, whatever it is that's bothering me, and I wait long enough and I get an answer. I may not like the answer I get, but I get an answer. Where do you go? Who do you turn to when you're writing and you're stumbling and it's all of a sudden not working for you? Or when you're drawing a picture or creating music or poetry or any of the other things that you can create that are art. I always wanted to take an art class. Yeah, not. I did. See that? Whoa! See that painting? I've lost my live stream. Ugh, my grandfather did that when he was 17 or 18 years old. 1925. It needs a new frame, but the picture itself is very fragile, and I have to find the right person to put the frame on it. I don't want the picture torn. My dad painted, and I have his paintings hanging throughout my house. This is probably the only one that doesn't have one hanging in it. This room. I ran out of walls, guys. I have two nieces that paint. One that sketches. Both are good at it. My daughter's the musician. Give her an instrument in a couple of minutes and she'll figure it out. And she'll be playing it like she's been playing it for years. My brother is also that way. Not me. I tend to be tone deaf. Those are all gifts. I once told my dad I wish I could be creative. And he looked at me and said, "You are, in two ways." And I looked at him and said, "Really?" He said, "One, you're a wordsmith. You're the only writer we've got. And two, if I give you a crochet pattern, you can pretty much figure it out and make something beautiful." I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about my writing as art, and crochet was a pastime, something I did to keep my hands busy so I didn't eat while watching TV. But art? I never considered it art. I get told how beautiful it is, the work that I do, but I never considered it art. Now I look at it differently. I look at the yarn and say, "How can I make it beautiful?" Not, "What am I gonna do with this?" I have more crochet patterns than I have time on earth. I should say time left on earth, because 'cause I'm not getting any younger. So I write, I crochet. I'm an avid reader, but my writing and my crochet, those are gifts from God. Whatever God you believe in, the Great Spirit, if Buddha's your God, that's fine. If you are of another religion, that is also fine. But who do you turn to when you need help? Turn to Him. I don't care if you make an altar. I don't care if you just drop little notes in a God jar saying, God, this is today's. It's okay. You do it your way. Keep writing. Don't stop. The only way you're ever going to get better is if you keep writing. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.